polish fans, it's Caroline again, and welcome to another video here at Rollin Lacquer. In today's video, I am finally getting started on my destash or declutter of my ridiculously large collection. If you're new to the channel, right now I am sitting on somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 polishes. That's a rough number because I don't have all of the polishes in my collection into my nail polish app, but the ones that I do have entered are reaching close to 5,000. And then last year in 2023, I did end up buying a huge estate haul of nail polish that was over 2,000 bottles. And while I'm not keeping all of them, I currently have them still in my possession. So yeah, my house is pretty much overflowing with polish, and I've known for quite a long time, even pre that huge estate haul, that I would have to go through my collection and get rid of quite a lot. So that's what we're going to get started on. And the reason why I'm starting it now is I at least have most of my collection organized now. I did post that series recently. I'll post a little series link up there in the cards, but I did it alphabetically, 5,000-ish nail polishes. It's a lot to go through all in one sitting. So I did break that up into alphabetical chunks. So what I've done is organize my collection alphabetically by brand name. So drawer number 1 has my number polishes all the way through A miscellaneous. So that's what we're going to be going through today. My goal is to just see how many I can get rid of. I don't have a number in mind. I'm just aiming to see about getting rid of polishes that no longer speak to me, that maybe I tried once, didn't love, but put back in my collection because I'm horrible about remembering to destash things. And of course, since I started my collecting, my tastes have sort of adjusted, changed, evolved, if you will, to what they are now. So we're just going to see how this goes. This drawer has the polish from brands like 1422, 77 nail lacquer, Ades, Alter Ego, a Pipa, I think that's more 77, Anonymous Lacquer, Avon, more Ades. So see, one of the things I don't like about the Helmer drawers is they do shuffle around, and I think I do have the drawer liners somewhere, but I didn't cut them. So the stuff in my drawers currently still does slide. I've got Arcane Lacquer, a couple of random bottles. You get the idea. Random A polishes. I've got a couple from Liquid Lacquer as well. So let's just sort of see where we go. Let's start with these two over here. These are bottles that are too tall for the Helmer drawers. We have one from Arissa. This one is called Rockin' Amethyst, and then the other one is from Ari, and this one is called Mary. This one is really pretty. I like the larger particle shimmer in it, and of course it's a purple, so we're going to hold on to that one, and we're going to hold on to Mary as well. The color of this is just absolutely stunning. It is a dusty brown leaning purple. It's really nice. Let's see. This one from Arcane is Forget Me Not. It's a very light gray, almost like a white leaning gray. And then there's some white matte glitters and a larger particled purple and blue shift in there. This one I think I'm okay letting go. Yeah, it's just not, I don't know, it's not gray enough to be interesting to me. It's a little bit too in the middle between a gray and a white for me. So that'll be our first in the destash, Arcane Lacquer's Forget Me Not. This one I do find interesting. This one is Alana Renee, I think. And this one is called Tranquil. And this is really pretty. I like all the different types of glitter in that one, so we will be holding on to that. Then we have a magnetic from Aurora. This is Give Yourself Goosebumps. This is another brand that does seem to have sort of fallen off the map. I haven't heard anything about them in ages, but that is the magnetic pull that you're seeing. Really pretty color. I do think I'm going to hold on to that one. Atomic, She's Got Electric Boobs. This one was a lot sheerer than I was expecting. I will say that was a bit disappointing, but at the same time, I also really like the combination, and if I wanted to have this more opaque, I could always put it over pink cream, so I will hold on to that one. The next one is The Great Fairies, another stunning color. That one's not going anywhere. Another Atomic. This is Sailor Saturn. This one is a sort of a magenta that also has flakies. This one is in pretty opaque formula. We're going to keep that one. We have an alter ego. This one is called Fluorite. Now this one's pretty interesting. You've got some glitter that's in like a holographic pink, maybe even a red. There you can see it in the bottle as well. There's also some beautiful shifts in this, so I do want to hold on to that one. That one I thought was beautiful. One from Atomic. This one is Scare Because You Care. And this is a really stunning like rosewood pink hollow that's staying. Another Atomic. This is Babality, I guess. Came from the Polished Gamers box. This is another one that has a lot going on, and it's just beautiful. That is not going anywhere either. We have another alter ego. This is Inagata Davida, and this one is interesting. It is mainly a gold shimmer, and I am continuing to find, I should say, that despite me liking a color in the bottle, when it has prominent gold shifts, meaning most of what you're seeing in the bottle on the nail is going to be that gold shift, I don't enjoy it as much. I want to be able to see other colors in everyday lighting sources. So when I have a polish, for instance, one that I wore the other day was Different Dimension I'm With the Band, and while I adore it in the bottle, this is actually one of those polishes that will be on the chopping block. In fact, I'm probably going to go ahead and just preemptively, while I'm talking about it, put it in my destash pile, because even though this looks incredible in the bottle, and yes, you do get those shifts in certain lights, what I'm primarily seeing is this. So when I'm wearing it in everyday lighting, in my office, at my desk, that's what I'm seeing. A very soft pink with a bright gold. And it's just not my favorite. So, you know, just something I've noticed about myself. But the reason I bring it up is this one does sort of have that gold prominent flash to it. Obviously a different formulation than I'm With the Band, but it does have a face of gold. And I just don't see myself really reaching for this, even though it is pretty interesting there on the nail. So we're going to destash that one. We have another Alana Renee, this time in a green glitter. I am going to hold on to this. I do really like these glitter polishes, especially in this nice green. The next one is another alter ego. This is Dramatic Dracania. I'm actually not too sure about that one, but this is a beautiful blue shimmer polish. And this one has a lot of shifts in it and sort of a larger particled component in there. This one is beautiful. I'm just trying to decide if I like it enough, because I actually don't have it swatched. So where's the swatch wheel? We're going to play around with some swatches as we go. Ooh. That's pretty. You can definitely see the pinks and the purples as well as that blue. That is gorgeous. Let's see, second coat. I don't know if I let it dry enough, but we'll at least see it a little bit more opaque. It's not going to be perfect, but oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's staying for sure. I think we already did that one. Started out a little bit unorganized here. Did I do this one? I don't think I did this one. Okay, so this is another alter ego. This is Golden Gate. I do love my oranges. I am trying to decide if this is one that I do want to keep though. This one is sort of like a rust leaning orange while still maintaining a bit more of a vibrancy than a usual rust color. There is a shifting shimmer in here that goes from pink to gold. And I think it's, again, because of that shifting shimmer, that gold face that you're seeing a lot of, I do think I'm going to go ahead and let this one go. Yeah, I mean, I've had it for a while. It was a Polished Pickup exclusive. I'm not sure what year or month, but yeah, I think, yeah, I'm okay letting that one go. So that one was Golden Gate. Next up is another alter ego. This is I've Been Slimed. This was another Polished Pickup exclusive, and this one is a pink squishy jelly. I'm keeping that one. Next up is another alter ego. I think this one might be the last alter ego, and this one is Petal Perfect. I do want to keep this one as well. I love this kind of shift, and I love a blue glow. Nope, I was mistaken. There's one more alter ego. This one is, oh my. So the labeling has sort of cracked on this. Altair, aka Beta Concrete or Cancrete. I'm actually not too sure about that one. So this is one that I'm pretty sure I got in a mystery box, and the reason why I did keep it is it's unusual. It's very interesting. So even though I'm not the biggest yellow or gold fan, this one is interesting. So you have this red speckled flaky, and then you have a warmer orange to red shimmer. So I did keep it. Let's go ahead and swatch this. So I don't know that I ever did that. Yeah, actually it's very interesting. I like the flakes and the shimmer in here. There it is in just one coat. Yeah, I think I'm continuing to keep this one. It's just unusual. All right, I have a few Avons. This first one is called Noir Emerald. I think this is another one that I may have gotten in a mystery box or a Goodwill bag. It is a very nice green, but it is very dark. So I will say, a couple of years ago when I was doing my destash at the time, I was getting rid of a lot of these darkened greens. Now, this one isn't the darkest I've seen. A lot of the ones that I was destashing at the time were very dark, but I've since sort of, again, as I mentioned at the beginning, evolved in what I like, and I've been reaching for this kind of a dark polish. At the same time, this isn't the most interesting. It doesn't have shifts. It doesn't really have a very prominent glow. Really, I mean, I know on camera it might kind of seem like a glow, but it's more like just the light is catching that at a certain angle. In person, it comes off as more just a basic dark shimmer polish. So I do think I'm going to go ahead and let that one go. Another Avon is Aurora. And this one I do think I want to swatch. It's sort of a dusty purple hollow, but it's Avon, and I don't recall if Avon does hollow Justice or if it comes off more like some of the Revlons that came out a few years ago. Goodness, that probably was 5 years ago by now, but a dusty sort of a scattering of hollow is what that Revlon collection ended up being. And at least from this first coat, this is a bit on the squishy side, and I'm not seeing a prominent flare, but it isn't dry yet, so we'll see how it goes. So there it is in 2 coats. This one turns out to be sort of this dusty rose leaning pinky purple. It's actually very pretty, and I can't tell just yet if the hollow is going to be linear, but with this coloration I actually don't care if it's linear. It's a beautiful color. So I am going to go ahead and hold on to Aurora. The next Avon is Saturn, and I already know I'm holding on to this. It's a beautiful shade of orange, and it's very similar in formulation to the one that we just swatched. So I'll be holding on to those. And then the last Avon, I think, this time I'm right, is in a completely different bottle, and this one is called Teal Wing. And this one I think I am going to swatch because this is, well, it's not the most unique color. It's pretty, but it's kind of a typical mermaid blue. And while I like those, I do have quite a lot of them. So let's go ahead and see this. I will say this wand and the brush are very short feeling to apply the polish. First coat is pretty sheer, and I think that answers my question enough right there. The short brush on this is just not my favorite to use to apply polish, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just let this one go. It's pretty, but I don't need it. I have plenty of other mermaidy colors. Next up, we have another Arcane Lacquer. This one is called Lonely Dreamer, and I think I'm getting rid of this one too. I'm really not feeling lately these very soft and subdued colors, and while I don't want to get rid of all of them, I'm trying to limit it to polishes that I think I would wear, and this one is just not quite hitting the marks of a color that I think I would wear. It's a little too desaturated for this kind of a color on my skin tone, and a little bit too ambiguous as to what color it's trying to be. So for me, I don't think I would reach for this. Since I have a collection so vast, I don't need to hold on to polish that I don't feel strongly about. Now, I have mentioned my rules, the rules I'm trying to put in place for myself, I think once or twice recently, but I want to, of course, love the polish that I have, but there's other things in play. For instance, you're going to have things like this that maybe they're not the most exciting, and you may not love them as much as your really interesting, unique polishes from indie brands or even some from mainstreams. But a color like this can really serve a nice purpose because the color is beautiful. And that's another thing that I really am passionate about, that I have a drive for, is color. I love colors. So I'm going to be keeping things that I love, things that I find interesting, things that can be useful, or things that just have a beautiful color that I don't think I'm going to find in another polish. So those are the basics rules that I'm going with. And of course, they're bound to fluctuate here and there, but this is just one that I don't really see myself reaching for. If I was going to go for a muted color like this, it would be in a different range. It would be a little bit more gray or a little bit more saturated of a brownish taupe. So yeah, that one is Lonely Dreamer. Gonna go in the destash. Next up, we have an anonymous lacquer. This is Sunshine and Fun Times. This is a cute yellow, but as you heard me already say with this yellow here from Alter Ego, yellows aren't my favorites. Yellows and golds just don't have a very high ranking in my favorite color ranges. Purples, blues, greens, pinks, and even reds are all above yellows. I'm sorry, they just aren't ranked very high for me. They're one of those colors that I do have a few in my collection. In fact, I do have one from Fancy Gloss on my spring rack, but very similar, sort of a soft yellow. Of course, the Fancy Gloss has flakies. This one is called Crystal Star. So I have some, but like I said, they aren't my favorite, which means I do have higher standards for the ones that I keep. Now, this one is really cute though. This is kind of in that same vein as Crystal Star from Fancy Gloss. It's that almost highlighter yellow pastel, if that makes any sense. The one from Fancy Gloss might be a bit more of a pastel than this, but what I like about this one is also that warm shimmer. But we will swatch this. I don't recall if I ever, ended up swatching this one. So yeah, I have been keeping polish as I get them if I think it's in a range that I could like. This is another one that I'm pretty sure did come to me in a mystery box. And yeah, I mean, look at this. This is pretty opaque in just a single coat. That's pretty impressive. And I do actually like this tone of yellow. It's pastel version of a highlighter yellow, and that shimmer in here does give a warmth to this. So we are keeping Anonymous Lacquer, Sunshine and Fun Times. Okay, I think my 77 nail lacquers have sort of shuffled around here, but let's go ahead and do this next row of miscellaneous. We have one from Aliquid. I think this might be my only bottle from them. I think so. I think this might be my only bottle from them. This is Aliquid's Tilt a Whirl. This is a really unusual glitter Crelly in sort of a watermelon pink. And then the glitters are a bright blue matte. And as you can see, what's very interesting about this is when you layer that pink watermelon color over the blue glitters, you turn them purple. So let's go ahead and swatch this because I don't know that I ever did that. Again, I'm pretty sure I got this in a mystery box. Yeah, the glitters mixed with that pink make for such an interesting purple. And there's a lot of glitters in here too. I did not fish for these at all. And I'm still having to move them around because I got too many. I didn't want them to clump up. But there's one coat. Very unusual color combination. Let's go ahead and see a second coat. I will say I think my bottle needs a bit of thinner. I'm not getting enough on this second attempt where my bottle didn't get like the cap screwed back on so that the bottle was flush with the lower level of the polish. And yeah, it's a bit hard to work with. So I think mine needs a bit of thinner. But there it is with two coats. And yeah, you can definitely see some of those glitters from the first layer turning that purple with that watermelon jelly layered over it. So, I mean, it's a very unusual, interesting color. I do think I'm going to hold on to that. I'll apply thinner before wearing it, but I'm actually going to put this in a tote for summer. What I've been attempting to do for some seasons is if I'm pulling, like for right now, polishes for spring, as I find polish that I think would be nice for the upcoming summer, I've been setting them aside. So we're going to go ahead and put that one in my maybes for summer. Next up, we have one from Apipala. This one is Rose. This one kind of has a similar concept color-wise to that Avon, where you have a mauve rose color. This one is more creamy, I feel, than that one from Avon, and a different color, of course. My bottle separated pretty badly. You can kind of see the color, the true color there up at the top. And I want to say it's at least in that section a little bit lighter than it was there on the brush. Oh yeah. So there it is on the brush. Definitely closer, maybe a slightly pinker version of this one from Avon. So I do think I want to hold on to that. It's a nice, pretty color. Just trying to decide where that one goes. I think that might be the only one from Apipala that I have. The next one is Ades, and this one is Grand Central. Now, if I'm remembering this correctly, when I swatched this was one that I think I got in a Destash. It was sheer, like really, 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 really sheer. And yeah, it seems like that was this polish. So this is it in one coat. And I mean, it's coming off not quite as sheer. Maybe not quite as sheer now that it's sat for a couple years, but it is really pretty. I just, for what I wanted it to be, I do think other brands have done this sort of a abalone-ish multi-chrome a little bit more opaquely. But before I give it the final verdict, let's try it over a color that I might actually wear this over in an attempt to get like an abalone finish. So this one is one of the colors that I pulled for the Orly Winter 2023 comparisons. Actually don't remember what color that was, but I'll try to post that up there in the cards. But let's go ahead and try it over this color. See if I get any sort of a effect that I like. And I think so far all it did was sort of gray it out. I mean, you do get some flash. You see some purple, actually a little bit better on camera than I am seeing in person. So yeah, I think I'm actually okay just letting that one go. Next up is another from Ades. This is Surfer Girl. I'm pretty sure I got this in either a mystery box or a Goodwill bag. And this one is a mint green. Ooh, a very watery mint green. Yeah, kind of very like milky almost. I think I'm okay letting this one go too. I like my mint shades. In fact, I love mint shades. It's one of the first shades of green besides like teal that I really, really like. So I have colors like this one from Cirque. This is High Roller. And it's just more saturated than the one from Ades. So I do think I'm going to go ahead and let that one go. Doing pretty good here, you guys. Okay, now we're moving into the bigger cluster of 77 nail lacquer. I have quite a lot from that brand. This one is Day 25. This one came out in an advent calendar in 2022, I believe. And this one is a really beautiful berry hollow. At some point when I get around to doing some of the comparisons that I have, I do need to compare this just to make sure that I don't already have a color like it in my collection. But for the time being, we're going to go ahead and keep it. Next up, we have another one from that advent. This one is Day 19. We're going to go ahead and swatch this one and see how sheer it is. I am not sure if it's meant to be on its own. Yeah, actually, I think this one might be meant to wear on its own because it is pretty opaque, or at least sort of milky opaque in that first coat. So I think if I were to put this over another color, I would be blocking out far too much of the color underneath for this to be a topper. So let's see how buildable it is with a second coat. All right, so there it is in 2 coats. And yeah, that's definitely meant to be worn on its own. This has some beautiful pink sparkles in it. I think there is a few smaller flakies in there as well. So we're going to hold on to that as well. Next up, we have another one from that advent calendar. This is day 23. This is another one that I'm actually going to set aside for summer because I think this could be really fun in the summer. This is like a key lime green with black and white matte glitters in it. That's going in the summer pile. And actually, I guess if we're going to be doing that as I go, we're going to do that with the Anonymous Sunshine and Fun Times. I'm going to set that aside in my summer pile. I'm going to do that with anything else? Yeah, maybe with Sailor Saturn from Atomic. This next one from 77 is You Snow the Drill. This is another yellow, but this is again another tone of yellow that I am okay with. It's sort of in that mustard yellow. But let's go ahead and give it a swatch and see a brief comparison because I do already have a mustard from China Glaze, Mustard the Courage, and I do want to just go ahead and do a quick comparison since I'm thinking about it. So I'm going to do one coat of Mustard the Courage next to that one from 77. And so far, even in just this one coat, I can see that there are differences. Mustard the Courage has more orange in it, but we'll come back for a second coat here. So here's a second coat of 77's You Snow the Drill. And then China Glaze Mustard the Courage. And yeah, this one from China Glaze definitely has more mustard or orange to it. By comparison, You Snow the Drill is coming off far less mustardy and more straight up yellow. So I think you might see this coming. I'm obviously holding on to Mustard the Courage, but I do think I'm going to go ahead and destash the 77. Next one from 77 is Invocation of the Spirit. And you guys, this is not going anywhere. This is one of my favorites from the brand, if not in my entire collection. This is really special. So it has this sort of a blackened charcoal base. It's got copper metallic glitters, and then it has a shifting, almost multi-chromatic shimmer in here. I don't have anything else that even remotely resembles this. It's not going anywhere. Next one from 77 is Stereo Glitch. This one is also not going anywhere. In fact, this is going into my summer rack. This is a beautiful, bright pool blue, sort of that turquoise color. And look at there. It's got a beautiful shimmer. Going into my summer rack. Next up is day 16. This is another really beautiful polish, but I do want to go ahead and see how this one swatches. For this one, it looks like we have a wider brush. Love the shimmer so far in this one. Sort of has a blackened base with a lot of hollow particles and red shimmer. That's very nice. Now look at that glow. There's a twinkle in there from a hollow particle. That is really pretty. So let's see this one build up with a second coat. Ooh, yeah, this is really pretty. Yep, I think this one's staying as well. Look at that. In two coats, that has a beautiful red glow. Yep, that's staying. All right, next up we have Botanical Curses and Poisons. This one came out in the Indie Collective. This has bar glitters, and actually this is one of the makers that pretty consistently uses bar glitters. So I end up with quite a lot of really fun bar glitters from this maker, and it's just such a fun mix. So I think this one is a teal. No, it is a blue. Blurple, almost like a denim blurple. Look at that. So there is a strong red to green to gold shimmer in here, and then of course those bar glitters. So that's not going anywhere. Next up, we have Punk's Not Dead. This one came out in HHC. That's not going anywhere. That is beautiful. Next up, we have Dakota. This one came out in Polish Pickup. That's not going anywhere either. That would make a beautiful one for winter. Another bar glitter this time, but that one had iridescent bar glitters instead of hollow. Next up, we have a Midsummer Ice Cream. This is going to be put in my summer rack as well. I love this kind of color. It's somewhere between a cornflower blue and a blue leaning periwinkle. It's really pretty in a cream. And next up, we have day 9. This is another one from that advent calendar. This is not going anywhere either. This is a beautiful one for winter, kind of similar in tone to a Midsummer Ice Cream, except kind of a lighter version of it, slightly dusty maybe. And then, of course, has white matte glitter, so that's staying. Next up, we have Stars Can't Shine Without Darkness. This one came out as a limited edition for Black Friday. I'm actually not sure what year, but it was also a gift with purchase. And that is not going anywhere either. That one is gorgeous as well. Next up is a Mystery 77. This is a dark green cream. Once it's swatched, at least on this little ring, it's a lot darker than I thought it would be. Let's go ahead and swatch this one. Just see what we're dealing with. Oh, interesting. So this one sort of has a squishier base, like a squishier formula than I thought it might. I thought it was going to be a cream. Let's do a second coat. Yeah, this definitely doesn't seem like it's coming off nearly as dark as that. Oh yeah, not nearly as dark. So keeping that. Next up, ooh, we have a purple one. This is Divine Light. This one came out in the Indie Collective for April 2022. I don't think this is surprising to anyone. This is not going anywhere. Although I do need to decide if this is going in my summer rack or if it's bright enough for that. Yep, it's nice. It's bright. It's going in my summer rack. So that one was Divine Light. All right, next up, another one. This is day 11 from that advent calendar. Another purple and another that has beautiful shifts. That one's not going anywhere. Another 77 nail lacquer that has those bar glitters. I think this time they are the hollow ones. This is Here Comes the Boom. This one came out in the Fireworks Trio for July 2021. This is not going anywhere either. I love this one. In fact, this is going to go in my summer rack. Whoops, that's 1422. Okay. Next up, we have another 77. This is another from that advent calendar for day 24. And this is a really fun, squishy purple base loaded with these neon glitters in circle shapes. Now this one, I don't know if it's quite light enough for summer, but I want to give it a try. I think that could be a really fun summer color. Next up, we have day 3 from that advent calendar, and this is one I want to add to the summer rack as well. This is a brighter shade of green, sort of a pastel neon green, and what's really interesting is this is another one that has a subtle shimmer, so that's a keeper and one that I'm going to put in my summer maybe pile. Ooh, we have another of the bar glitters. This is It's Gonna Be Lit. This is another one from that Fireworks Trio. This is a purple that has a beautiful shifting shimmer from red to green to gold. Then those hollow flakes, just a load of them. And I think I want that in my summer rack as well. All right, next up we have another hollow glitter. This is Blue Lava. This came out in Polish Pickup. This is another one I want on my summer rack, so it's not going anywhere either. Next up we have day 15 from that advent calendar. This one is sort of a magenta leaning purple. There is a hollow component and a subtle scattering of some flakies. I do want to keep that one as well. Next up we have a limited edition from Black Friday 2020. This one is another that uses those hollow glitters. So let's just do a quick little comparison to the other purple and blue. So here is Blue Lava. There's Here Comes the Boom. And that one is It's Gonna Be Lit. So all different. I do think the Black Friday one though is a bit dark for summer, so that one's gonna stay there. Next up we have another one from that advent calendar. This is day 17. This is a really beautiful pinky lilac color in a cream. I do like this cream color, so I'm going to hold on to that one. Very versatile. Next up is day 12 from that advent. This one is really pretty as well. It's sort of a dusty red, if that's such a thing. Maybe dusty is not quite the right word. Silvered out maybe. There's a lot of hollow in here, and there's a larger hollow glitter, so that's staying as well. Then I have another hollow glitter. This one is Bibliophile. This is another that came out in the Indie Collective. Now this one I do want to briefly compare again to the other hollow glitters. That one is Here Comes the Boom. They have a different shimmer. And then Blue Lava. I think it's closer to that one, but different shimmer. So there's much more of a green flash in Bibliophile and less of a shift in that red shimmer in Blue Lava. So I think we're going to do another comparison. Let's see if I need both of them. All right, so the first one is going to be Blue Lava. Definitely get a lot of those bar glitters out. And then this one is Bibliophile. I think this one has a squishier base as well, but still getting a lot of those hollow glitters out. So far I'm pleased to note that they seem different enough, but we are going to let these dry and come back for a second coat. So here's coat 2 of Blue Lava. Yeah, that looks so fun. Although I might actually pull that one from the summer rack. I don't think that's as bright as I would like for a summer polish. I might have to remember to pull that for a winter rack. And then this is a second coat of Bibliophile. Definitely squishier. So there is Blue Lava in 2 coats. And there's 2 coats of Bibliophile. So yeah, they're different. I think that Bibliophile is more of a 3-coater. But yeah, different enough. We'll go ahead and hold on to both of them. We have another 77. This is day 6. This is sort of that fuchsia Barbie pink. There is a subtle shifting shimmer in here. I'm actually seeing a pink to like an aqua or teal. I don't know if that teal is coming out to play. It is a little subtle. This is one that I do want to swatch. I do have a ton of this kind of color in my collection now because I love the combination of a pink with a blue shimmer. I want to just see how I like this compared to the other ones that I know I have. Just as, you know, mental comparison. This one does have a really nice formula. This is in just 1 coat. Now the downside to it being nice and opaque in this 1 coat is that does sort of make the shimmer a little bit harder to see. So I do think I'm going to go ahead and just let this one go. Okay, next up we have another 77. This is day 21. This is another one with hollow blue glitters, this time in a squishy light purple base. And then it has a green to gold shifting shimmer. But I do feel that this one does have that predominant gold flash to it. And I just don't know that I would like it. Now I'm second guessing my first impressions. Let's see. I'm loving the base. I think that's one of my problems is I'm second guessing it because that base seems so nice and dainty. And of course, purple, which I like. But as I mentioned before, gold is not my favorite. But will this show up as gold as I feel like it is in the bottle? Or will that green play a little bit more of a part and sort of distract from the gold? Ooh, actually as a topper over colors, oh my goodness. That could be stunning. Here is a second coat. This one is not quite as sheer as Bibliophile was, but it is a squishy formula. So there it is in 2 coats. And actually, I'm liking this color combination. Again, I think it's because of the base color. It's that sort of almost periwinkle leaning purple. So even though it does have kind of a gold face to it, there is a bit of green in there. And I like the combination. So there I went, just talked myself into it. We're going to go ahead and keep this one. That one again was day 21. Next up we have day 22. This one is somewhere between a periwinkle and a cornflower blue, and it has a subtle shimmer. So this is another one that I will be holding on to. Next up we have Love in Bloom. This one is a very unusual shade of kind of like a dark watermelon, kind of leaning into the reddish orange color range. I am trying to decide though if this is one that I would wear, which I think it is, but when would I wear it? That's another thing that I've been trying to sort of figure out. because when I'm pulling polishes to wear, I'm often, if not always, pulling for a seasonal rack. And a lot of the polishes that I have don't really fall into that category. So it's not that everything has to fall into a seasonal range, but that is going to be kind of a deciding factor for some of these, is when would I wear them? If it's not bright enough for summer, but it's not dark enough for fall, when am I wearing it? So for this one, it almost does sort of fall into that realm. And I think if I were going for a color like this, I would probably go for a Quokka Selfie from, what was that? Was that Trio Lacquer that did that? The drawer is blocked by my lamp right now, but I think it's Trio Lacquer that did Quokka Selfie. And it's more of a pink coral than a deep watermelon like this. And I just think I would probably go for that over this one. So I will go ahead and destash Love in Bloom. Next up, we have She Who Holds the Key. This one is another that came out in the Indie Collective. We have another bar glitter and another purple. This one has a beautiful blue flash to it. That's not going anywhere either. Next up, we have Magic and Sorcery. This is another from the Indie Collective. Beautiful color here as well. That's not going anywhere. Well, let's just do a brief comparison to day 21. Day 21 is bluer by comparison. Blue Lava is also bluer. And It's Gonna Be Lit is darker. So no obvious dupes. Oh, one more to compare it to. This one is Bibliophile. Again, bluer and a different shift. But yeah, that's going to stay as well. And then possibly the last one. No, I've got two more from 77. This next one is day 5. This is a beautiful lavender shade. And again, we have a subtle shimmer in it. This one goes from purple to blue. That is a really nice shade for spring, in fact. So yeah, that one's going to stay. And then last but not least in 77 is day number 7. As you can see, a lot of these did come from that advent calendar. And this one is a light sort of mint shade. And yeah, actually, I think I do want to hold on to this one as well. It is kind of like that one from Ades, but see, there's a difference. The one from 77 Nail Lacquer is more saturated, where the one from Ades was paler and milkier. It was also like more translucent. So I do want to hold on to that one. Okay, now moving on to more number brand polishes. So I have one miscellaneous from 25th and June. This is Brilliant and Bizarre. This is a bright, I was almost going to say Barbie pink, but I don't know if this is Barbie pink. It's just a bright pink. It is a really pretty color though, nice and bright. There's not much going on with it though. It is just sort of a squishy crelly. I think I do want to hold on to it, at least until I can do my lengthy batch of comparisons. This is a shade I definitely need to compare, so I'll get to that here sooner or later. Now getting into our 1850 Artisan Polishes. This one is Contrary Lilac. This is a beautiful metallic lilac shade. This is actually another brand I don't hear anything about anymore, so I am not sure if they make polish anymore, but it's another color that I do want to see swatched. So there it is in one coat, a little bit on the sheer side. A very nice silvered out lilac color. Let's do a second coat. Yeah, it's sort of a metallic leaning purple. A little bit more silvered out than I would usually reach for, I guess, is part of what I'm hesitating about. And I think for that reason, you know what? I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to go ahead and let this one go. I've had it since 2020 and I have yet to wear it. That is, of course, I guess if I purchased this or if I got it in a mystery box, because I honestly can't remember. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just go with it though. That one's destashed. Okay, next up is Hummingbird. This one I did buy from their debut collection back in 2018. And this is not going anywhere, you guys. Look at this beautiful polish. That is staying. Next up is Orion's Belt. This is another one that isn't going anywhere. I need to remember to pull this out in either fall or winter. It is gorgeous. Next up is a thermal called Duplicity. This is another from their debut collection in 2018. I actually don't know if it still transitions, but the color on my swatch is the same as the color in the bottle, so that gives me hope. And I love this color, so it's not going anywhere. And then the last one from 1850 is Dichotomy, and this is another thermal, also from the debut collection. And this is not going anywhere either. This is very beautiful. Actually, let's see if I can't warm it up. Again, with this one, I have hopes because it is the same color on my swatch ring as it is in the bottle. And I don't remember on either of these thermals what color they were supposed to turn to when they were warm. Apparently my hands must be a little bit cold because I can't get that to transition at all. But yeah, I guess for the time being, I'll just hold on to that one. All right, now moving into 1422 designs. This first one is Exiled Jedi Master. This is not going anywhere. It is absolutely gorgeous. Next up is Cruisin' in My ATV. This is another really unusual polish in my collection, so that's not going anywhere either. Next up is Ultimate Knockout. This one I actually do think I want to get rid of. It's another from the Polished Gamers box, but I've had this one for probably, what, 3 years, almost 3 years, and I have yet to wear it. And I think I like it because it does have those bar glitters, but it also has a ton of other shapes of glitters in it. And I want to say when I swatched it, it just didn't really stick out to me as one that I wanted to reach for in the summer. At least I don't think so. Of course, now I'm second guessing myself. We're going to swatch it. Oh my gosh, we're going to swatch it. All right, here's one coat. See, I can't remember when I got that feeling or where that feeling is coming from, because so far I like it in the first coat. All right, here's a second coat. And yeah, you know what? I don't know where I'm getting that feeling that I didn't like how this swatched, because I like it in 2 coats as well. So, okay, here's what I'm going to do about that. It's a summer color. I would probably wear this in the summer, so I want to put it in my maybe pile for summer, and if I don't wear it this summer, I'll have to seriously reconsider it. But for the time being, it's going to go in that summer rack. Next up is, hey, you get a special clearance, also from Polished Gamers box, and another rather unusual color in my collection. This one has a very light blue matte glitter. I think those are light blue matte glitters, all in this fuchsia purple. Very unusual combination, like I said, so that's not going anywhere either. Just not quite bright enough for summer. So I guess that's another one. I need to figure out when I'm going to wear this. Maybe spring. Maybe I ought to have put that on my spring rack. Next up is Frosty Morning in Siberia. This one almost did make it to my spring rack. In fact, it may have gone on, not last year's, but the winter rack before that. It is a very pretty and, again, rather unusual color, so I will be holding on to that one as well. And there we have it. That was drawer 1 from my Helmers in the destash, and we have 12 from this drawer that I am destashing. I'm not going to count how many I'm keeping because I put a bunch in the summer rack as well, so that number is not going to be very accurate. But yeah, 12 that I'm destashing, so not bad at all. I'm really happy with the ones that I did keep. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you had a good time. If you're new, think about hitting that little subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on the rest of my destash series or any of my other upcoming videos. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you in that next one.